Welcome back to the Snap tutorial series. In this video, we will explore how to integrate external applications into your job stream using black box application definitions. Black box applications are designed to provide job stream support for external applications not built directly into Snap. Placing a black box step into a job stream and subsequently connecting it introduces the associated external application into the stream workflow. This tutorial will provide an example of how to create, configure, and incorporate a custom black box step into a Snap job stream. That step will use AI to extract output from a trace analysis code execution, format the extracted data for use with a plotting application, and plot its results to an image file. The example covered in this tutorial will provide information on how to incorporate OpenAI's ChatGPT into our job stream. This will be obtained by the development of a Python script that will be executed as the black box application. The use and configuration of ChatGPT as part of this example is not necessary to complete the tutorial. The Python script employed by the black box step will include an example ChatGPT response that will be used in lieu of the online request if the service is not accessible to allow all users the ability to complete the exercise. To begin, let's go over the prerequisite information to ensure our environment is configured correctly. All required technology is available, and that we understand the terms of using AI in our submission. The user will need the following software installed for this example: Python 3, which will execute the script we assign within the black box step; pip, which will be used as a package installer for Python and is needed to install the AI and plotting packages required for this tutorial. The following modules must be pip installed: OpenAI, which will interact with OpenAI's API; matplotlib, which is used as a powerful plotting library in Python that we will use to generate plots; and lastly, pandas, which will be used to read and process the comma-separated response data provided by ChatGPT. We will use these technologies within a Python script backing a black box application. This black box application will be fed the ASCII output of a trace transient step by the job stream system. When the job stream system executes the black box step, the Python script will execute a prompt to ChatGPT for it to parse the trace output and then convert it to a pandas compatible data frame. The pandas data frame will then be used for plot generation. Before we start, please be aware that when interacting with OpenAI's ChatGPT, it is important to understand the potential implications of sharing your data. While OpenAI has implemented measures to protect user privacy and data security, any information provided during interactions may be recorded and used to improve the service. Considering this, avoid sharing any proprietary, sensitive, or confidential information. Exercise caution and discretion when discussing topics that may contain sensitive data. Let us start setting up our server key for later use in this video. Navigate to your browser of choice and go to the OpenAI website and sign up for an account if you don't have one already. Navigate to the API section and create a new key. Save the key entry locally as it will be used later in the video and cannot be accessed again within the OpenAI server key site. Now navigate and review the pricing options on the OpenAI pricing page. Here you can understand the pricing options that best fit your needs. Once you have understood what best fits your needs, navigate to your account settings and go to the billing section to purchase your tokens. As an aside, you can manage and review your analytics of how you are using OpenAI by going to the dashboard in your account. Now that our environment is set up, let us configure our environment for a black box application to be included in a trace execution. Navigate to Tools and open the Configuration tool. Right-click Applications and select New. Select Black Box and name the application ChatGPT Plot Step. Once created, let's define the input and output files of the application. You'll see that when defining an input for a black box application, you have a multitude of file types to select from. Open the editor for the Input Files property and add a new input. If your black box application required more than one input, you would define them here. For our example, our input will be a trace output file provided by a predefined transient step. Set the label as tarout and the runtime file name as input. trout will be shown as the label on the step itself, and the runtime file name will be used as the name of the file to be read in by our Python file. Set the file type to a trace output, as the format of the trace output is plain text ASCII. It is important to ensure that file types are set appropriately, as the job stream system will ensure line separators are appropriate for the platform in which the applications are executed. Press OK to save the input file modifications. Next, let us define an output file that will contain the plot file we are generating. Open the property for output files. Add an output to the table. Set the file type to an image PNG file, the label as plot, and the runtime name as plot.png. Again, if your application has more than one output file, they should be defined here. It is important to ensure that the runtime file names match the files created by the application, because if not, the job stream system will identify the runs as failed. Press OK once the output has been defined. We will now assign our Python script as the only argument within our black box application. The arguments property is the set of additional command line arguments passed to the application. Arguments should be entered separately with one per row. Using the AI plotting script within the black box exercise zip folder supplied within the link of the description, create a new argument entry and place the path to the script within the text box and press OK. Finally, let's set our executable to be a Python 3 binary, since we will be executing a Python script for this example. Now save your changes and exit the configuration tool so that we can begin to introduce the black box step into a job stream. In the model editor, open the W4 loop model within the black box exercise zip folder supplied within the link of the description. Navigate to the job streams category within the navigator and create a new black box stream step named AI plotting step. Set the new steps application to the black box application we defined within the configuration tool. You will notice that a caution button appears, allowing the user to inherit the input and output files of the black box defined within the configuration tool. Clicking this button will configure your stream step for us to submit to the calculation server. Drag your newly created step into the W4 loop view and use the connection tool to connect the output of the trace transient step to the trout input of the AI plotting step. Before we execute this command, let's look at what our script does. Here we see a few functions that perform operations such as connecting to and receiving data from ChatGPT by supplying it with a prompt and a collection of table data, modeling the various mass values of a collection of components within the model. The script expects the name of the trace output file to be named input. By setting the black box input file's runtime file name in the configuration tool earlier, we assured that the job stream system will copy and name the trace output as the script expects. If you wish to perform the exercise with ChatGPT, place the key you created into the Your Key Here entry of the Python script. We also have a plot routine that takes the contents supplied from ChatGPT and plots the data supplied into 4 separate tables to graphically represent each mass value compared to its respective component number. In addition to generating the plots, we will also generate a text file that will contain the AI prompt and data we receive from ChatGPT in our results directory. Let's exit the script and get ready to execute our stream. Right-click the W for loop stream and submit it to your local calculation server. Wait for the stream to complete, navigate to the results directory, and notice that the plot.png file has been generated with 4 plots of mass data compared against the respective component numbers, as well as a text file that contains the prompt and data from ChatGPT. This video provides an example of how to create and configure a black box application and receive its input from the output of a previous step. Black box applications can be used to wrap any type of external application. They allow the Snap Job Stream system to interact with outside applications for pre-processing, post-processing, analysis, summarization, etc. Analysis codes which do not have a Snap plugin can be wrapped with a black box application to include that code in a larger workflow. Altogether, a black box application is an incredibly powerful tool provided by the Snap framework.